The marriage goes through, well, there's different stages depending on what author or what book you're going to read, but there's approximately 5 stages that every marriage goes through, growth stages, that they're supposed to go through. So it's a foreign topic, not to the guys in here at this point, based on what I'm saying now. It's a foreign topic to them, for them to think, oh, so the romance phase, which I'm very familiar with, that's not the only phase. There's the romance phase and the settling in phase. They can see those 2 phases. We had a romantic phase, and then we had the romantic phase is over phase. No, there's about 4 or 5 other stages of growth in the marriage beyond that span the entire lifetime. So that's an odd concept for them. She knows we're always going to be, this marriage is always going to be a work in progress. We never arrive. The ASD husband goes, oh, fuck. So I got to have difficult conversations with you about social and emotional things for the rest of my life. Kinda.
It was not in the brochure.
They should tell you up front. They should give you a little manual. I pronounce you a man and a wife, and here's your manual. One might be emotional reasoning. This is where the person makes decisions and arguments based on how he feels rather than objective reality. I'm a big believer in using emotions as your gauge, but you need to use emotions as your gauge in combination with rational thought. So in the event that the ASD guy is totally operating on logic, that's dangerous. And you have run into many cases where your NT wife operates totally on emotions, that's equally as dangerous. So one of the things that I do when I start using emotional reasoning, because it feels this way, therefore it is this way, I go, wait a minute, no. What's the logic behind there? What's the reality that's going on? And I do this daily. I will do this daily in the moment when I'm starting to let my emotions dominate, or I'm operating on 99% emotions, 1% logic. I quickly go back and okay, what's really going on here? And what I do is I try to put myself in the other person's shoes and look at it from their angle. And when I do that, I realize, okay, I probably was making too much out of this. That's one of my favorite self-talk phrases right there. I'm probably making too much out of this. Another favorite phrase of mine, a go-to phrase when I'm trying to erase the distortion is, I think I'll just mind my own business instead of trying to predict other people's motives. That's a big one with me too.
Fake it till you make it? I don't think so. You might be able to do the fake it part, but the make it part is actually lacking. And what is make it? What are you making? Are you making yourself into an NT temporarily? Masking? Yeah. So there's no need to fake anything because you're okay just the way you are. Hello? Is this microphone working? I said you don't need to fake anything because you're okay just the way you are. Whose problem is it? Your behavior. Is it your problem or is it the neurotypicals that you run into? Their problem. Whose problem is it? The answer is both. It's their problem and then they turn it into your problem. And then you have to go about the business of faking. Okay, we don't want to do that anymore. You're okay. You don't need to fake anything. You don't need to mask anything. For those of you who are spiritual as I am, God created you exactly as He wanted you. He didn't want you to be typical. And what the hell is typical? And there's nobody typical. Even neurotypicals are not typical. In fact, I've never met a neurotypical yet that didn't have some ASD level 1 traits. There's no shame involved here with this disorder. Thus, there need not be any shame cover-up, period. So, a quick message to all the burned out NT wives out there, the ones that are burned out because you've been doing all or most of the relationship work. Here's your new mantra. How can I conserve energy? I want you to begin thinking I need to conserve energy now because all your arguing, lecturing, threatening, reasoning with, compromising, getting angry with is burning up precious energy that is going to affect you someday. You're wasting precious energy, and it's going to affect your mental health and your physical health. You're wasting it because your efforts, even though your heart's in the right place, it's yielding no positive result, and in too many cases it's making a bad problem worse. You have to stop that. You're burned out. Conserve your energy. Save your energy for the things that are effective. Save your energy for the things you say and do that actually yield some kind of a positive outcome. So if you've been doing too much of the relationship work and you're burned out, think energy conservation.
Not that it's just this simple, but I would say that a good 80% of the pushback that you get from him is because his anxiety has been raised or he's feeling criticized. I know it's not that simple, but if you reflect back of all the times that he has given you some grief to one degree or another, the vast majority of the time it's either because his anxiety was up or he downloaded your delivery such that he felt criticized. His self-esteem is already in the toilet. It doesn't take much for him to feel criticized. Sometimes your neutral comments download to him as criticism. You're not necessarily being critical or doing anything wrong, but he's going to download it in a certain way because he's hypersensitive. Hypersensitive. If you can keep his anxiety reduced, you're never going to eliminate it. And if you can be careful with your wording and timing with respect to your message delivery, you will cut your workload greatly and you will cut your grief greatly. He has mind blindness, emotions blindness, executive function deficits, anxiety, sensory sensitivities, weak central coherence, and a couple other things. He also has some level of trauma. I won't use a strong word like trauma. He had a lot of disappointments in childhood because he couldn't quite fit in. He might have been labeled a problem child by parents, a problem student by teachers. And at some level, he just kind of gave up trying to be very social and gravitated to his special interest and became very task-oriented. So all of these things are traits of the disorder. Since there's so much unpredictability in his life and anxiety in his life, he tries to create as much predictability and as many anxiety reduction strategies as possible. Unfortunately, when it comes to you, his significant other, most of his anxiety reduction strategies are problematic and backfire. The shutdowns, the meltdowns, the false agreement, which is, yes, Bernie, yeah, I agree, yeah, you're right, okay, just get the conversation over with, adult temper tantrums, hyper-focusing on his special interest for extended periods of time just to stay away from you. So his anxiety reduction strategies have created division and distance in the relationship. You noticed that back in the day, and you tried to reestablish or establish a connection and not make and do away with so much of the divisiveness and so much of the distance, which raised his anxiety, which made him want to engage in more dysfunctional anxiety reduction strategies. And the cycle just continues.
What's the number one cause of marital anxiety, stress, depression, misery in a neurodiverse marriage? Unrealistic expectations. Hey, this is Mark Hutten. Would you like to schedule a one-on-one Zoom call? Okay, it's so simple. Just look under any of my videos in the description area. Click on this Calendly link. Now you see my calendar. Pick your month, your day, anytime that's available. Enter your name and email address. Then you'll get a follow-up email with the Zoom link on the day and time that you picked. And voila, we will talk.